Hi everyone, welcome back to Just Fit Me. I am going to be talking today about something that Julia and I are going to be doing together over the next 30 days, and this is Whole30. I don't know if you may have heard of it before, but it's basically a eating plan for 30 days that is pretty restrictive in order to reset gut health. And I think that you may have heard Julia and I talk about in our introduction video that what we want to do is we want 2019 to be our healthiest year yet. So that means resetting gut health, because I have noticed over the past year that my gut is not healthy any longer. I think that there are foods out there that I am sensitive to, which haven't been agreeing with me, and with the stresses that I have at work, I do a lot of traveling as well, that my gut is a little bit more sensitive than it used to be. So I've noticed a lot of heartburn, a lot of gas, bloating, other things that I'm not going to mention in this video because they're a little too personal and a little too disgusting. So I wanted to kind of take 2019 to be my healthiest year yet, and that means me taking a look at what's going on internally, what foods agree with me, what foods don't agree with me, and what foods are kind of setting off some of these symptoms that I have been noticing over the past year. So I took a look, and we are going to be doing Whole30, and what that means is that for 30 days we are going to be cutting out some of the foods that are the requirement of Whole30. That means you can't have sugars, no sugar of any kind. You can't even have cheating sugars like honey, nothing of that sort. You're cutting out all dairy, and that includes butter. And what you can do when you're cooking, instead of using butter, you would use clarified ghee or some other clarified type oil. I think that's okay. You can't have any grains, and so grains is quite a broad spectrum. So you can't have rye, barley, rice, no wheat. So wheat's in quite a lot of products that are out there on the market today. Wheat's also included in beer, so no beer. But one of the rules of Whole30 anyway is that you can't have alcohol. So no dairy, no sugars, no grains, no alcohol, and no legumes. And so legumes is something that includes all beans, peas, I think corn's included in that, so don't eat corn. And so these are kind of like the basic rules. And what Whole30 does is that they ask you to give them 30 whole days. 30 days where you're not going to have any of these foods that are known disruptors to the gut health system. So we're going to be doing this. It's going to be challenging. It's not easy because it's really hard because you have to plan. You really have to plan, like, what am I going to eat for the next week? Then you've got to go to the supermarket and make sure that you're getting everything that's on that list that you will be making that week, so that you don't deter from the plan, because it will be really easy to kind of get off track. I've been there. I've done it once before. I did it last year, and it wasn't easy. But if you plan it all out, knowing exactly what you're going to eat for that week, then you go into the supermarket, you buy all the foods that you need for that week, and then you plan during that week for the following week. So that way you can keep going with it, and then you don't cheat. One of the things as well that I found really difficult was when I was traveling. I do have impromptu travel requirements with my job, and that was where I found it really difficult to keep this up, because when you're traveling you don't have access to your kitchen or to any of the foods. You're kind of at the mercy of whatever the plane gives you, or you know, you're having to go out, and because you don't have a kitchen, you're staying in a hotel, you're at the mercy of whatever restaurants you can find. Now there are tons of websites out there that have recipes, that have tips and tricks on how to get by and not succumb to going back to your old habits while you're traveling. And there are also, if you go to the Whole30 website, they also have a list of all of the restaurants that have Whole30 approved meals on them. So if you know that you are going to go out for a meal, then you can plan accordingly, and you can take a look at what restaurants have these available foods for you that you can order. So that way you don't feel like, oh no, I can't go out just because, you know, I can't eat or I can't have alcohol. But you can plan. If you're really dedicated to doing this, you can plan for it. And to be honest, 30 days really isn't that long. And then after the 30 days are up, what you want to do is to slowly reintroduce some of these foods back into your system. So for the second month, you would still continue your Whole30 plan, but you could reintroduce back in dairy, or you could reintroduce back in grains. And then, since you have been monitoring your body and how you've been feeling throughout the first 30 days, you will notice if some foods actually trigger an adverse reaction. And this is a way for you to determine what foods you have sensitivities to. So I'm going to be doing this with Julia. We are going to be doing it together. I kind of dragged her into doing it with me, which is so much fun. Misery loves company. So she's going to be doing it with me. I've already made a plan for our food plan for next week, what we're eating for breakfast, lunch, dinner. I've included snacks as well, and we are going to be talking about this with you. We're going to track the progress. I am going to come on each week and talk about how I'm feeling, about how the progress is going, and I'm probably also going to share with you some of the recipes that I've made for that week. I use a lot of the recipes from the Whole30 book. They have, like, this is the Whole30 book that kind of like goes over exactly what the plan is, what the details are, how you can shop. It gives you tons of recipes in there. It tells you how to meal plan, and all sorts of other really good information. And then they also have a Whole30 cookbook. As you can see, I have made tons of tabs of recipes that I think are really delicious that we're going to be trying. And there's also some other really good books, like Well Fed. This one's Well Fed 2. I have Well Fed 1, Well Fed 2. These books are awesome, and they are so pretty. Like this one, you can make a faux pho. It gives you all sorts of like information, pretty pictures about it, and it also gives you some information about like what you can exchange if something you really don't like, but it does give you some information about what you can do, what you can serve it with. It has side dishes. The Well Fed books also have some desserts. Now I know that it's really difficult to give up sugar, but that's also kind of important to do. But with the Whole30, you can eat all of the fruits that you want, with the exception of dried fruit. Stay away from dried fruit just because they tend to be really sugary, and they also do add sugar to dried fruits. So stay away from that, but you can have all the fruit that you want. In the Well Fed books, they also have some recipes on like how to do some like cooked apples with pecans, for example. I think there was also like some kind of pecan pie that does adhere to the Whole30 guidelines. So on this, you don't feel like you're actually giving up anything. And I noticed that when I did it last time, I was full, constantly full. The thing that I struggled with the most was breakfast. So with breakfast, they encourage you to eat eggs, and there are only so many ways you can make eggs, especially for 30 days. It just gets so boring. So I got kind of creative the last time that I did it, and I ended up having salads for breakfast. Salads with, you know, like shredded chicken on it, tuna salads, things like that. Even had my leftovers from the night before for breakfast, and it was delicious. And you've got to get your head past having traditional breakfasts for breakfast, you know, like cereals, breads, eggs. You got to look past that and actually just think about, well, you know, breakfast is the biggest meal of my day, so I'm going to eat, you know, kind of like a robust meal. That way it's going to push me all the way through to lunch, where I'll have a semi-decent meal, and then in the dinner I tend to eat much smaller. So I kind of like shifted around how I eat by doing this plan. But I'm going to share this with you. I hope you join me on this journey. It is challenging. It's difficult at first because you find that your energy levels really dip, and then your energy levels around day 15 or 17, your energy levels just spike, and they go way up to the point where I wasn't even drinking coffee in the morning to get my morning, you know, energy boost. So I felt amazing. I only did it for 30 days before, but my skin was phenomenal, and people were actually noticing how awesome my skin was looking. I have rosacea, and I tend to get like spots around my laugh lines here. I tend to get spots there. They're not pleasant, but you know, it is what it is. I live with it. And I noticed that the last time I did it, my skin improved dramatically. And that's the interesting thing, is that everything that's going on with your gut actually comes out through your skin. So if there are toxins in your body that your body isn't able to process through the colon like it should, then what happens is that your toxins find the next place that they can come out of, and typically that comes out through the skin. So when you have really good gut health going on, you'll find that a lot of other things within your body start falling into place as well. Like your skin will look amazing, and your hair, and all sorts of other things. So like I said, I'm going to be doing this journey. I'm going to be vlogging it with you, and I hope that you join along. I hope you find it interesting, and we will see you next time. Take care.